August in Manchester, which is high summer, which means it's absolutely chucking it down. We're going to have a look at the allotment, have a tour for August and see what's growing. Let's have a look. Here's the second heap. Got plenty of compost material now. We've cleared up some of the peas. In fact, both arches of peas have now gone. And we've put them in here. We're mulching these down. Hopefully we'll get some usable compost out of them. But the idea here is to try and, in the width of one bed that we would normally have, rather than have compost in a dedicated bin, and I think we're just losing some goodness down into the soil, we might as well compost on the soil on a sort of 1 metre by 1 metre spot and let the goodness go back into the soil as it breaks down. Also, it means we don't have to transport it quite the same distance. So rather than it being in the back of the plot, we don't have to put it on, turn it over, and then ultimately distribute it. The idea is that once this gets to a decent height and has broken down, we'll spread it over the bed in this direction, get it spread down there, and then start on the next 1 metre square in that corner. And then again, drag it down. So you will probably always have a slightly higher area of fertility at this end of the bed. The only other alternative, I suppose, would be to move it sequentially, so turn it and tip it next to itself and go down. And that might work. We'll give that a go. Maybe. But yeah, there's the new compost bin bed idea. So this would be the normal place we would do the composting. We'll probably get this turned out and piled on top of the new system. So we'll let this rot down a bit more. But yeah, this is what we have previously had. It's not a bad system, but again, for me, you're just rotting wood away. You're containing all the things in here, and I think you're just losing it down into the base of the soil. A lot of goodness disappears with the rotting down of the material, and I think there's something to be said for getting it all down in one spot on the plot already. So we'll be emptying this soon and probably just using it for cane storage and some tool storage as well.
If you're thinking of posting a comment down below, I'd be really interested to get an idea as to what you are most looking forward to on today's tour. What plant have you wanted to see how it's developed this month? What do you think's gone the furthest, grown the biggest, or dissolved into a pile of slug-eaten munch? Then put your comments down below, and I'd like to think what, just before we get onto the tour, what you think you're most looking forward to. Cheers.
Here on the heritage plot, we've got the Northern Queen lettuce, which we have harvested and has now gone to seed. The hot weather completely made it bolt. We did get quite a few nice headed lettuces off it, but as you can see here, we've got plenty of seed. So as it's a heritage variety, we've got quite a bit still left in the packet, but we're going to give an opportunity for this to go over to seed and see if we can collect some seed back. So that part of the project. This one is this Avon early beetroot. Now the seed on this has more or less been used up, and I'm not massively impressed with how these have developed this year. They are very slightly sort of bolting up, but not brilliantly. So I don't know how great a variety this is. So next year, I think we're going to leave this in the ground for now, see if we can get some seed off it to try again next year. But I won't necessarily put an order in for this particular variety next year. I think we'll try something different. I'm not, like I say, I'm not massively impressed with even how the sort of the roots look. I mean, they might be good for seed, but they're not looking brilliant. But like I say, we'll try them, maybe if we can get some seed off them next year, but that's not necessarily one I would recommend, certainly for my growing conditions anyway. So maybe knock that one on the head. But we'll put one order in for some different beetroot next year on the Heritage project anyway. Next to that, we've got the pea, the Freuer Heinrich. That has now completely dried up now. We've taken the pods off, most of the ones that are the driest. A few of them have kind of got a bit of sort of mildew on the outside, but the peas inside are okay. They are nice and dry, We've harvested those and we've got a nice sort of packet, sort of maybe 40, 50 seeds, which we'll try next year as a proper trial variety. We won't have them on a wigwam like this. We're going to put some proper netting up and we'll get them nicely done. But that's that one. Here we've got the sort of quick late trial tomatoes. We've got 9 plants here. We're going to get these tied in as soon as possible. They're doing not too bad in the weather. It is warm, it is wet, they may get blight. We don't quite know how we'll do with these. They really were sort of a bit of a afterthought, really. We had some left over from planting them at home, so we've got these ones set up here, and if we get a few, then I'll be happy with that. These are the sort of dragon tongue variety or something similar. Yeah, got plenty on there. We like to keep these going so we get nice big beans in the pods. We eat these for the beans rather than the pods, so we're quite happy with these. Going over a little bit, but we'll these are going over a little bit, as you can see. Probably could have done with a 6-foot pole, but might take those off at the tips now. They're bulking up quite nicely. The French beans are doing amazing. That's about maybe a good kilogram off these already, and they're still going really nicely. These probably about a kilogram off these already. Loads and loads of nice, really tender beans off these. And again, this one needs a good harvest, but again, nice beans, really tender, nice variety these. Very happy with these. Now time for beetroot. Now beetroot we do really well here. This ground is perfect for beetroot. I don't know why. We just seem to, if we could just live off beetroots, if you could make them into an all-round vegetable, potatoes, chips, mashing, you name it, we'd be able to live off these. But that one has gone to seed. We might leave that one to seed actually, just to get some good variety next year. But no, we have really good seed, really good beetroot here. Really nice. Again, just, again, it's really good. We've been taking them as we've been going along, reaching a good size. Really nice, smooth skin. Just great variety, this. Parsnips. Look at the parsnips here. Look, we've had these since sort of, I don't know, was it April, May? Just 2 rows. We don't really eat a lot. They're really nicely spaced. Hoping they don't go to bolt.
And because these have been in the ground, or intended to be in the ground for a long time, we've been using the JADAM FPJ liquid fertiliser on these, just simply so that we can get as much fertility in these as we possibly can. They really have, I think, greened up quite a bit. Then another small patch of some Dwarf French beans here. We mostly have these for sort of cannellini sort of style beans, not really again for the pods, a bit like the fire tongue on the climbing beans. We'll have these for the actual beans inside themselves. Just a little patch. Won't get a massive harvest off them, but happy to have the bit of variety. And these ones Bit of variable germination, some big beans, some small. Really productive patch of perpetual spinach. Really happy with how you get so much for just so little space. Using these for curries and in place of spinach where we need to. Bit of leaf damage here and there, but very happy. Very productive. Small patch will keep going all year. Not as finicky as spinach. Certainly less slug damage from the likes of pak choy and things like that, so I think we'll might try and get a little sowing to keep us up till autumn and winter with these, because these will go over soon. And here's the sweet corn. Very happy with this. This is the best we've ever had in terms of bulk, in terms of greenery. At this stage anyway. Tassels on the this one here, but noticing we've not got much in the way of any silks. Certainly can't see much. This could actually be a male plant possibly. But really happy with how much bulk we've got in these. But happy with what we've got. Hopefully we'll get some cobs. May hopefully have not put them in too late in the season. If we don't, then we'll get some good greenery for the compost bin if nothing else. But very happy with how things have bulked up with the FPJ. And here we have the first courgettes. So pleased to see these germinate. We've had a really poor germination rate for the Courgettes this year. Got this one yellow variety and then this Genovese green variety here. But that's all we've got in terms of Courgettes this year. We lost all the pumpkins, and there was a little rotten one there. We've lost one. How unfair is that? There's a few left. But yeah, we got very poor germination this year. So this is all we've got in the way of Courgettes, I'm afraid. Onwards and upwards. We'll get some yellow ones if nothing else.
So, this week's poll on the allotment tour is what would you put where the broad beans and peas were? Our working thinking at the moment is putting the brassicas there and retiring the present brassica bed, which was not very successful, into that part of the plot, and putting in purple sprouting broccoli, Savoy cabbages, other stuff.
And we've harvested half of the broad beans, suffering a little bit with sort of rust and maybe a bit of mildew here and there. But yeah, this is where the peas were. They've gone now. Had a great harvest out of those. Very happy with the peas this year. But the broad beans, this is the second succession sowing. Still got plenty to take off these. And once they're gone, that'll be it. But thinking on, what would we put in this spot now? Because that's quite a gap. Oh, that's worth a poll. Well, in the comments below, why don't you put what you think we'd put in this space here? What normally follows legumes? Or would you put something different?
And here we've got the 2 rows of main crop. Not doing bad at all. Quite impressed how big these have got. A couple of them are starting to flower, so we'll see how things go One row is Sarpomera, which is the one on the right hand side. And the other one is Cara. So one variety is definitely blight resistant. The other one maybe not so much. So we'll see how those go. And that's for the elephant garlic. We'll be pulling those up soon. And we'll be drying the cloves and trying to get those planted for next year to get a bigger crop. But no, quite happy with those. We've been watering these with the FPJ JADAM fertigation liquid, and I think they do look pretty darn good for this start, this time of year. Not looking bad at all. Fingers crossed, because we'd quite like to get some main crop to keep over winter in storage. But fingers crossed they'll do the business.
And back where we did have the first early potatoes, we've put our couple of rows of leeks in and interplanted with some Autumn King 2. Yeah, just thinking to put another line of carrots in there down that row, and then we'll fill up the rest of the bed with some more leeks. Don't look at the cabbage patch. Don't look at the cabbage patch or the weed patch, as it's probably best known. In fact, there's even a line of new potatoes still in there underneath the dandelions. But we'll get all this cleared out, get it gone, try and use up the space, and maybe you can maybe make a suggestion in the poll below. Put cabbages down where the peas and broad beans were, perhaps. If you've liked any of today's content, I'd be grateful if you could maybe try and share things a little further afield. If you've liked what you've seen, or you think it's any snapshots or points that you like or are quite interesting on this or any of my videos, you can actually do the sort of clip or snip action on the button below, particularly on the mobile YouTube app. If there's anything that you think is particularly interesting or you think is worth sharing, then you can do that clip, and I'd be grateful if you'd share it a bit further afield. Cheers.
So thanks for coming along on the allotment plot tour for August. Really impressed with how some things have gone this year. Some things not so well, but that's just the nature of growing produce, particularly on an organic method. You're not going to be guaranteed massive fields every year, or that you're not going to get a particular blight or a fungus or a pest that's going to have a go at your produce. But I'm really impressed with what we've been able to do so far this year. This year we're trying to kickstart again, getting more things sown and planted in the ground. Not really shown much this tour of the cabbage plot. That's pretty much covered in weeds and ready for a good old dig over and weeding. So we'll hopefully get some different varieties in there. We've not really been able to get much cabbage up to summer, but we're going to try and push on for getting some crops that we can keep in the ground going up towards autumn and staying over into winter, like some Savoy cabbages and purple sprouts and broccoli into next year. So we're really going to have a go at those, and we're planting some of those soon, and we'll be getting some videos of getting those in the ground once we've had the area cleared up in the protection netting and supports, which are this kind of stuff here, set up. So thanks very much for watching today on the tour. If you've liked, I'd really be grateful if you give it a thumbs up. Any comments or suggestions, just tell us how things are going with your plots, or to share your progress on how things are going with your plots and your planting areas in the comments section. If you'd like to be notified of the next video, then press the subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.